Hey there everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Puborama, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the mansions which were just added into Grand Theft Auto Online. I'll be talking about how to save money on these mansions, what upgrades you should and should not be getting, and overall how you can actually turn what looks to be an incredibly expensive purchase into something that might actually be somewhat affordable. So as always, if you enjoy content like this and you want to see more in the future, make sure to smash that subscribe button down below. Now let's get straight into it. In front of us we have the most expensive mansion. This is the Richmond Estate. If we go onto our phone here and we pull up pre-luxury real estate, we can see just how much money this mansion costs, even with the discounts, $10 million. If we want to customize this mansion and put on a tint, add some patterns, change the decor, we're already looking now at around $11 million. Then we want to add some additional rooms, the armory, the arcade. I don't have this available just yet because I don't actually own the arcade on my Broke to Millions account, but the arcade alone is $950,000, which we'll add to our final price tag. The podium, we got the vehicle workshop, boom. Now you're looking at $13 million, and then you pair on that security upgrade, and that's $15 million. Add on the $950,000 arcade, and you're looking at around $15.5 million to buy the most expensive property and kit it out. That's pretty dang expensive. And honestly, if you ask me, pretty unnecessary for a lot of reasons, which I'll be breaking into today's video. You guys can obviously let me know what you think in the comments, but there's a very easy way to save millions upon millions of dollars when buying one of these properties and still having the exact same experience. So obviously, the most expensive property is always going to be in the best location. But here's the thing. The other locations that these properties are in are still really, really good. We can see here the Tongva Estate, and this is the one I would highly recommend to buy. Instead of it being close to 10 million, it's around 8.5 million. The Tongva Estate is also a really, really unique property because it is the original property, right? These two other properties which have been added into the game are copied from this original one because this is Devin Weston's mansion. If you've played story mode, you know all about Devin Weston, but essentially this mansion's been here for years, and Rockstar decided to copy that mansion design and then paste it to the other two mansions. And you'll see that when we fly over to Devin Weston's mansion, it is literally the exact same design. There are some slight differences between them. For example, we can see that there are circular water feature items instead of square, and then at the front here, instead of there being balls in the water, there's cubes. But like, that's it. If you actually take a look at the overall design of this property versus the design of the Richmond Estate, they are the same. The mansions have the same everything on the interiors as well. So it begs the question, why would you spend an additional 1.5 million for a property that literally gives you the exact same experience? And you might say, well, it's a better location, but it actually doesn't matter because you can fast travel with this property, as I'll showcase in a moment. And by the way, I consider this a way better view. It's secluded from the city, so you don't have the light pollution, and I just consider this to be a better view overlooking the ocean, where the other two mansions don't have this. So what we're going to do is we're on my Broke to Millions account. I've been saving up for a mansion, so we're going to buy one. I'm going to showcase what I would recommend to purchase and what I would stay away from when getting one of these properties. First of all, when it comes to the color, I really don't think that any of these colors really change the overall look of the mansion, so I'm just going to stick with the free pattern. And I honestly don't really like the patterns that this game gives you to begin with. Like, I don't want to look at zebras humping each other, so I'm also going to stick with the free pattern. When it comes to decor, this is where I do actually want to change it just a little bit, and I think the San Andreas Coastal is the nicest looking of the three. So far, we have increased our price tag by $500,000. Now that brings us to additional rooms. I'm going to be honest, the armory is a complete waste of money. It is $720,000, and I really just don't see any reason why you need this edition. You can literally call a terabyte or go to the Freak Shop or any property that you own, and you can totally upgrade any of your Mark II weapons. I mean, heck, the Garment Factory comes with a free Mark II workshop included. So I don't really see much of reason to own an armory in your property. It's very confusing to even find where it is to begin with, and again, you can fast travel to any other property in the game from your mansion. So you can just fast travel to another property that has an armory. It'll take just as much time. So I don't really think that that's worth the purchase. The arcade is a complete waste of money. You're never going to use it. And when it comes to the podium vehicle, I honestly wouldn't recommend this either. It's $650,000, so you can put a car in a piece of glass. Fun fact, you can't even use the car. You can't call your mechanic and get that car delivered to you. Whatever car you put in that glass is permanently stuck there unless you physically move it out by changing garage slots. So again, it's kind of pointless. The only reason you put it there is to show off to your friends. And then finally, we have the vehicle workshop, which I do actually consider to be a nice purchase, so I'm going to add that on for $880,000. Security is another upgrade, which I would highly recommend to get because the security completely stops raids. You can see right here, bolstering businesses' security to eliminate the risk entirely, which means you do not have to worry about being raided anymore. So instead of spending upwards of $15.5 million, our mansion is going to cost $11.6 million. It's still quite expensive, but it's a lot less expensive than what you'd be looking at, right? We saved ourselves about $4 million just on that purchase, and just like that, we now own our mansion. So let's talk about why you don't really need to get some of these upgrades, right? I'm gonna go through this cutscene really quick because obviously getting your new property, you do have to enter a bunch of cringe cutscenes. And I think I should clarify at this point that this video is not meant for people that have hundreds of millions of dollars. There's a lot of people that watch videos like this and they're like, well, I bought all 3 mansions. I'm like, that's cool, but that's not what this kind of content's for. I'm making this video for people that don't have hundreds of millions of dollars to spare and maybe only have $15-20 million on their account that they've spent the last few months saving up on their free time. And personally, I don't think it's the best decision to spend all of that money on one single property that's not really going to give you much in return. I mean, it's cool to own an expensive property, but what are you actually going to do in it? Well, there are a couple things that the mansion has going for it, which are really nice. The ability to fast travel, the boosting of businesses, the removal of raids, and the master control terminal. But why spend more money when you can spend less, still have the same capabilities and property without really missing much? So first of all, we have the view. Devin Weston's mansion has by far the best view. You have the mountains off to the left. You have the entire ocean in front of you, which you can see from basically every view, including the windows. This mansion just has such a better location compared to the others. And sure, it might take slightly longer to get to the city, but at the end of the day, you can fast travel wherever you want to go with this mansion. And it's why I don't really find it to be that big of a deal. If we make our way into the mansion here and we walk over to our AI, you can see the first option we have is fast travel. So if I want to go to another one of my properties, let's say I want to go over to, I don't know, my garment factory so I can access my Mark II workshop. Well, I just scroll until I see garment factory and I press fast travel. This is literally going to take less than 5 seconds. The game cuts to black and then it's going to teleport us right into the garment factory. There you go. We're in the garment factory. And now if I simply walk through these doors right here, look at that. A Mark II workshop. The exact same capabilities as the weapon workshop that we would have found inside of the mansion. You can also do this for the agency, which you can also purchase a weapon workshop in. So I really don't see much of a reason to purchase the armory in that mansion when you can just fast travel to a business like the garment factory in less than a few seconds. And not only that, but as I mentioned, you also have access to the terabyte inside the garment factory. So really, there's no reason to ever need the armory, and it's why I don't really consider it to be the best of financial decisions. I would say by far the 2 most useless purchases that you really don't need is the podium and the arcade. The arcade, I don't think anybody's going to care about it. I really don't. It would have been in this little box right here. And I have the arcade on my main account. I walked into it, saw about 4 arcade machines, said, oh, that's cool. And then that was about it. I never cared again. You will never even notice that the arcade was or wasn't supposed to be there. And you'll be grateful you didn't spend $950,000 on it. The podium, I'm just a little sad that you can't drive the car that's in the podium. You spend $650,000 so you can put a car in a glass box that you can never drive. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a little silly, especially because you'd probably put a car you like in the box because you think it looks cool. It's like those car collectors that buy a super, super rare car and then just never drive it and let it sit in their house and do nothing. Those are the purchases I would personally stay away from if you're tight on money and you still want to get your hands on a mansion. With all that being said, that brings us to the final question, and that is, should you even buy a mansion? Is this worth your money, or should you just stay away from the property in general? Well, there are some nice things about the mansion that I do really like. The fact that you can fast travel to literally anything, including service vehicles. I can literally go to my Kosatka right now if I want. That's actually kind of insane. I can go to my acid lab right now if I want. I love the fact that I can do that. I can just boop right into my acid lab and I can start the business. I can go to any special cargo warehouse I want, any vehicle. It's just I think it's really nice that you can go to anything that you need immediately. The only thing I would have liked is for the ability to then fast travel back to the mansion. That would have also been quite nice, but in general, still pretty dang sweet. You can go wherever you want. But more importantly than that, we also have the fact that you can boost businesses. Specifically, the Acid Lab and the bunker can get double production. I'm not sure for how long. I'm gonna have to figure that out, but just the fact that you can boost your business. Like, for example, I'm just gonna boost my production speed at the bunker, and now I have double production on my bunker. That's making over $200,000 every hour. And I can tell you that if you continuously boost every single day, you will definitely start to make a lot of money back from this property. Honestly, that's not even the major reason why I consider this property to be so essential. It's actually because of this security guy right behind me. For literal years, I have avoided multiple businesses because of the raids that they receive. The motorcycle club business is a great example. I hate registering as a motorcycle club president, even though it's so useful to be able to request motorcycles just like that. But whenever you register as one and you have your motorcycle club businesses running in the background, chances are you are probably going to get raided at some point, or even worse, a ghost raid. And when a ghost raid happened, it would completely ruin your day. You would lose your product, have to load into a new lobby. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. But this security guard makes it so now you cannot get raided, which means that I can just register as a CEO or motorcycle club president whenever I want and not have to worry. Even more importantly, special cargo. I, for years, have stopped filling my special cargo warehouses at 77 crates, as many other players have as well, because once you go over that threshold, there's a chance that your crate warehouses are going to be raided. And trust me, when you have your special cargo warehouses raided, it is one of the worst feelings ever. This security team will alone stop all of those raids, which means you can now just fill your special cargo warehouses all the way to the top, and you don't have to worry at all about them being raided. This is a huge quality of life change, and it really does honestly change the dynamic of a lot of grinding strategies. Another part of this property that is very unique and actually quite nice is the private helicopter. If we walk up to the monitor here and we go over to exit via helicopter, you'll see that we have a Mansion Velatus. This is very nice because it's a fast helicopter and it's a $2.3 million purchase if you want to get it on Elitist Air and Travel. And in the latest update of the game, this helicopter now features a missile lock-on jammer, which is quite nice if you're just trying to do missions and go from point A to point B, especially because this is actually one of the fastest helicopters in the entire game. It's really, really fun. And even crazier, you are able to bring this helicopter into Fort Zancudo and put it in your hangar. Yes, you heard that correct. You can literally treat this just like the agency helicopter, fly it right into your hangar, and then claim it as your own, which you can then request whenever you want, right through the interaction menu, as you can see. So it's a $2.3 million helicopter you're basically getting included with the purchase of your mansion. So do I think the mansions are the best deal ever? No. They do have quality of life changes, right? You have the ability to never get raided. You have a free $2.3 million helicopter, which I didn't even own on this account. So that's pretty nice. Do I think the mansions are worth the price? Honestly, yeah, I do, but only if you are in the right situation to buy one. I think all the amenities and capabilities the mansion features are great for a player like me that already has every business and now has means to get even more money and use the fast travel capabilities to get around the map faster. But if you're a beginner and you don't have that many properties, and you say, I'm going to spend all my money, or I'm going to buy a shark card to get a mansion, it's not a good investment at all. Because first of all, that business boost is only going to work if you have businesses to boost. And second of all, you can literally get so many purchases instead of a mansion. You could get an agency paired with a Kosaka, paired with a nightclub fully upgraded instead. Like, at that point, I would recommend, if you're a beginner, probably go for ways to make money. But if you are a player like myself, who's kind of grinding a lot of money and has some spending cash, but also doesn't want to break the bank, the mansion is not a bad purchase, but I would also be a little bit smarter on your ways that you spend the money on the property. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.